Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Maria Tranquilli, and I'm a program manager at the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. For those of you who may not know, the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center is a nonprofit dedicated to enabling entrepreneurs like you from all over the world to realize their maximum potentials and grow. We will open up for Q&A at the end of this event. Please submit your questions for Q&A using the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen throughout this presentation. None of this would be possible without all of the amazing support from our sponsors. We are humbled by their contributions. During these unique times, we are very curious about how sentiment is among our entrepreneur community. We would like to start by taking a poll to let us know how you're feeling about your business right now. How are you feeling? Please take a few seconds to fill out this poll. It looks like we are at 67% of optimistic, which is fantastic. We have another poll for you. What type of entrepreneur are you? It looks like we have many entrepreneurs in business in the audience. And finally, what is keeping you up at night? Please let us know. Thank you all. It looks like sales is the first and your team is the second priority that's keeping you up at night. Thank you all again for filling that out. Well, without further delay, please join me in giving a warm welcome to our special guest, Arjita Sethi, founder of Equally. Arjita, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Maria. I am very, very excited to be here. All right. Hi, and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this special webinar on product market fit. It is one of the very close to my heart topics because this is essentially what has kept me awake for a long time as an entrepreneur. So before I go ahead and start my presentation, I would love to hear from all of you who are joining today. Can you tell us in the chat where are you joining from, which city? If it is a country outside of the US, where are you joining us from? I would love to see where you are from. Awesome. Hey, Carla, great to see you here as well. Palo Alto, not too far. Awesome. Great. We have people from Peru. That's amazing. Hayward, Los Altos. Amazing. Great. All over the world, I think. This is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today for this webinar. Oh, great. Amazing. That's a very international turnout, and I'm really looking forward to talking to all of you. The second thing I want you to put in the chat is, why did you come for this webinar today? Like, what's the hope after today? What's going to happen? If you can put in the chat. What are you looking for from this webinar? Growth ideas. Great. Sure. What else? Product placement and positioning. All right. to build my entrepreneurial idea. Teach me the magic of PMF. Oh my God, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know if there's a magic to it, but I'll try my best. You're launching a new company, great, and you would love to know about go-to-market strategy, pivot products to fit the market, amazing, great, awesome. That is wonderful. So, and how many of you already have raised any funding, any sort of seed, Series A? Have you raised any funding? You can just say yes or no in the chat. No, family, friends, bootstrap, Series C, no, yes, okay, great. So if you're from Series C, I'm not quite sure if this webinar is the right fit, but if you are bootstrapped, you've done friends and family, and if you've done a seed round, it is a great place to start from. In fact, if you're at Series C, I would love to hear from you what you're doing right now and how you're acquiring users, but we can ask that towards the end of the webinar. So without any delay, let me quickly share my screen. And that's what we're going to be talking today. I want all of you to go ahead and take out your journals or some writing material. This is not just a webinar, it is a workshop. You're going to be working on certain tools and certain questions that I am talking about and asking you, and it's going to make you think. So the whole idea today of this webinar is the 5 steps to product market fit and how to implement that. So we're going to be thinking very deeply about the company. We're very deeply thinking about the user, about your offering, and we are going to be thinking about ways to actually get to a point where we are seeing some product market fit. I'm going to be covering these 3 things today. First of all, what is product market fit? When in a founder's life should you start thinking about it, and how to run the process of product market fit when you're on a budget. Why I said this is a great way for bootstrap, family, friends round, a person who has not raised any funding, aspiring founder or seed round, because this is when you are really thinking about trying to reach the product market fit at the right time, so that you can raise funding, so that you can create revenue, so that you can become profitable. So those are the 3 questions we are going to be covering today in the session. First things first, let me introduce myself. I am Arjita Sethi. I have been a founder. I sit on the board of advisors at the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center since its inception. I'm an investor. I teach at 2 business schools in San Francisco, and I speak at different events, and I coach and mentor startups to launch and scale their businesses as well. Recently, I founded something called the Founders Vault, which is a collective of all founders who are trying to start their company and who are trying to work and launch and scale their companies, but in a sustainable way. It's not something we're working really hard on making sure that the leadership aspect, that the right tools are given to the founders. So I am the founder and of this thing called the Founders Vault. But my entrepreneurial journey started when I was 16. When I was 16 in India, I'm originally from there. I was in my high school and I was very bored because the education did not stimulate me, and I did not feel that it was preparing me for the future that I wanted to have. So I started a company which was a vocational school that would give training to people so that they could get jobs. We would train about 10,000 people a year. The school is still running in India, but about 6 years ago, I moved to Silicon Valley, and I became one of the co-founders for Startup India. And now we have launched the largest borderless incubator in India for founders who are thinking about launching their businesses and scaling their businesses or funding their businesses. But what did I do after moving to Silicon Valley? So I started a company called Equally. We have built an edtech platform that uses augmented reality and computer vision to connect kids around the world to the real world so that they don't get disconnected. and they are stuck on screens and they become screen zombies. We wanted a healthy learning experience. We are a venture-backed startup. Our investors include the early investors of Oculus, angel investors of Silicon Valley, impact investors from Finland, because that's where our research happens, because Finland ranks very highly when it comes to education. And we've been able to build a pipeline of almost about 40,000 users. And we launched a program a couple of months ago, which was our second product. It's a homeschooling product that we launched just in response to COVID. And we were able to reach the product market fit in 2 months of it. So we are now scaling that product as, you know, more and more parents are more interested in homeschooling. This company became one of the semi-finalists in the Global Learning X Prize. That was a $15 million prize sponsored by Elon Musk. And that's when we realized that the idea is really well. This is the time when we had reached about 12,000 users around the world. And we realized there is this fit that people are liking this, kids are liking this, parents are liking this. But I started working on this idea in 2015. So it took me almost 3 to 4 years to find that product market fit. And why I wanted to share this is because it is a journey. You do not find product market fit in just a launch of a product overnight. It doesn't happen. It is a process. So it took us about 3.5 years up until a point where we found product market fit. It involves almost 7 pivots from the time we built our first product to the product that we have today. But in 2018, December, we finally found the product market fit. And that's when we raised our first round, because we were growing and investors realized that we had reached that point. So product market fit is also a point in time when investors really are interested. That's when you have validation and proof that I have built something as an entrepreneur that is going to help and that is going to actually create value in a user. So the user will pay me for that. And this validation is very, very important. Up until that, I would want you to rethink about raising money, raising funds, and trying to just focus on that part of your business. Up until then, focus only on the product side and the user side of your business. And I'll walk you through the process of that today. So first things first, what product market fit is not. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and I coach a lot of, I've coached almost about 400 entrepreneurs till date. And most of the entrepreneurs, when I tell them, okay, how are people going to hear about your product? How are you going to actually get to the product, get the product to the users? They say marketing. We are going to market. We'll do Facebook ads, we'll do Instagram ads, we'll go to conferences, we'll buy booths. Product market fit is not marketing. It certainly is not in early stages of entrepreneurship. So if this is what you're spending any of your budget on, I would want you to rethink that and instead implement the process that I'm going to give you today. Product market fit is not achievable overnight. No matter if you're working 24 hours a day, you are still not going to get it. It takes a while. It takes time. Any successful startup out there, read their story, how long it took for them to reach a stage where people really liked what they were building. It takes a while. So have that patience. You need to have that resilience that my first product out there, people are going to say my baby is ugly, and you should be ready with that. Your attachment should be to create something that actually creates value for user, not something that you loved building. So leave that notion of that perfect product, rather build something that people really want. And today's the day we're going to actually figure out how to build that process. So without any delay, let's talk about the first thing. What is product market fit? And I want to talk about it because a lot of people, a lot of founders ask me questions, the things that you've put into chat. Things like, can you teach me the magic of product market fit? Can you just teach me the steps of like, what is the roadmap? And I can just follow that. And I want to tell you that it is a consistent process. because it involves multiple experiments. As an entrepreneur, you're also a scientist. You're trying to understand what is working, what is not working, and create hypotheses so that your hypotheses are the products that you're offering. And for every entrepreneur, it's going to be very unique. No two founders, no two successful founders have run the same process, copied a process, and been able to get that success. As a founder, you have to run those series of experiments, and you have to be okay with the fact that most of the things you'll figure out during a time you run this process. It is not something that you're going to figure out just by somebody teaching it to you. It doesn't happen. To be honest, there would have been a master's in product market fit if that was a possibility. No such course on entrepreneurship is available because it is unique. Nobody can say, we know this process so well, you just do this, 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 and you are there. So I want you to get comfortable with the fact that there's a discovery stage in this phase, and this is what you need to be comfortable, okay with. You will have to run this process a couple of times. We had to go through 7 pivots before I found a product market fit. And I'll tell you what that product market fit feels like. So if you don't already know, I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. You're going to see a lot of GIFs around Harry Potter. But I think the writer really needs to rethink the tweets that she's making, but the books are pretty good, I would say. But step 1, please take out your journals, your writing material. Let's get into the process. If you go online and search and say how to achieve product market fit, they will say, find a big market. But you don't have to do that. You have to understand your market. It could be a niche market, it could be a big market, but you as a founder need to know, what is it? Is it a big market or is it a niche market? So today I want you to ask these couple of questions. Are there 1 billion people who would pay you $1 for what you're creating? Or there are 100,000 people who would pay you $1,000 for what you're creating? Are you an Apple or are you a Google? Both exist, both are successful, both are doing really well, but that is because they understand their markets. They are not trying to convince the users of the other markets to convert. They've identified clearly who they are serving. So ask yourself today, which market are you serving? And both are okay. I know when you go online and when you listen to webinars, and a lot of investors say that it has to be, you're not going to help 1 billion people around. That's weird. You should be helping 1 billion people. It's not true. If your user is ready to pay you $1,000 for what you are creating, you don't need 1 billion people at that point. So step 1, find exactly what kind of market are you serving. And how you're going to find it? You're going to find it by answering these 4 questions. First of all, who is my user? Second, when do they need my offering? They need it once in life? Are they going to keep coming back? Do they need it every day? Are they going to be using it monthly? When? Where do they look for this offering? Do they look for it online? Do they look for it at Target? Do they look for it at conferences? Where are the users looking for this offering? And how many such users are there in the world? 1,000? 1 million? 1 billion? So I want you to take a screenshot of this slide and go through this step 1 today. Ask yourself these 4 questions, and this will give you the clear view of whether you're serving a big market or you're serving a niche market. And both are okay. Don't let anybody talk you out of a niche market. Step number 2, what is the offering? What are you making? And the moment I start asking this question to the users, they fantasize their product and they start talking about all the awesomeness that is there in their product. But I want you to wait. The first question that you need to answer about your offering is, what value does it create in the user's life? I'll tell you an incident. So when I created my EdTech product, I thought it's going to revolutionize learning. It's going to change everything about learning. Everything's going to be different. It was an app. We gave it to our parents and we ran a test with the first 1,000 users. I gave it to the moms and the moms gave it to their kids. And then I told them, after they had used it for a month, can I speak to you for 15 minutes and get your feedback on the product? And when they said yes, I got on a call and I asked them, how did you find this product valuable? I was expecting that they're going to say, it has the best learning experience. My child was able to do math really quickly. My child was able to do vocabulary really quickly because I was creating an EdTech product. But there was this special feature on the app that we have. And if you download my product from the app stores, it's available everywhere. When you download it, there's a special feature where the kids have to walk and move, and we are calculating their physical activity and then unlocking certain features of the game because we wanted kids to be active. And you know what, the moms? None of those parents said, we love the language that you're teaching, the vocabulary. They said, our kids are moving. I cannot believe it. That's what I like about your product. I cannot believe that my kids are no more screen zombies. This was not a word that I came up with. These are the parents that told me these words. And I started using this when I started communicating to my parents, more and more of my parents. It started resonating with them. So that's why understand what value is your product, your offering, your service creating in the user's life. It's going to be very different than what you think. And since then, we've actually focused less on the learning aspect of our product and more on the wellness aspect of the product, because nobody found that out. That was the value that we had. Next, why would the users love it? When I asked them, okay, great, so what do you love about it? They said, the parents, we don't feel guilty anymore giving a screen to our kid. It made them feel good about themselves. And that was amazing. This is what you want to hear from your user. So you ask them this a lot, again and again. Do you want to be a good parent? This became part of our messaging. Do you feel guilty every time you give a device to your kid? This became part of our messaging. But as an entrepreneur, just in my silo in isolation, I would have never guessed this is what the parents are struggling with. The next is now your story. Now comes the why of you are creating. I was an educator for almost 12 years before, I realized kids are becoming addicted to screens. Kids are not moving. Kids around the world don't even have access to education, don't have access to schools. That's my why of why I'm creating it. I'm passionate about education. And I'll tell you how this why helps you in our next steps. But this is a very important bit. And I want you to think about this. The last one is your features. Now you go ahead, we use augmented reality, we have steps. In this, we are trying to coach founders in this way. We've built a platform, we have office, whatever are those fancy features, they come last. This is literally a priority of your offering. Whenever you're thinking about your offering, first think from the user's perspective, then think your why, and the last is the feature that you're going to build in this user. I want you to flip your thinking whenever you're talking about your product. How are you going to get this clarity? Ask a friend. Go ahead, tell them about your company. And then Ask them, can you now explain to me what you heard about my company? See what they say. What stuck with them? What did they find interesting? And what words did they use to describe your product? We humans are very smart. We don't listen, we hear. We only hear things that are exciting for us and we churn out the rest of the information. This exercise is going to help you understand what's actually useful to tell the people outside. We as founders, we know so much about our idea and product that we want to tell the entire story behind it. I have been working on this product for 5 years now. There is a lot of experimentation, a lot of things that have happened in that time. But I am not going to bore someone with all that story. I'm going to only tell the right thing that that user is going to want to hear. And this is what you have to crack. When you want the product market fit, you need to know what your user wants to hear. And run this exercise today. Again, take a screenshot of this slides, and I will be sending the entire slide deck to the center who can share it with you. This is your toolkit, your workbook. You can use it anytime. And this is being tested by me in all my startups, and this works. I am telling you, as an early stage founder, this really works. Step 3, now let's come on to, okay, great, you've got the product. Now let's talk about the market. How are you going to distribute it? Is it going to be your step 3? Figure out all the ways, all the channels where you're actually going to be distributing it. Is it going to be online, offline? Considering everything's remote now, so most of it is online. Which channel? If you're a B2C company, you probably are using Twitter, Facebook groups, or Instagram. If you are a B2B company, you are using introductions on LinkedIn, you are using emails, you're using some lead management platform, you're using referrals from your existing users. So which channels are you able to distribute your product on? But please don't hire an intern to do this. Please don't hire a third party to run this process for you. This is the superpower of a founder. If you know which channel you can distribute your product at, you will reach product market fit way sooner. You as a founder need to discover this. You cannot give a bunch of experiments to an intern to run and then tell me the process, what happened. Nope. You have to do these mistakes yourself. You have to learn this yourself. I have built a pipeline of 40,000 users. Each one of those users came because they knew me. I don't have an intern to run this process. I don't have a third party running sales for me, making calls, making emails, and doing all that for me. No. As a founder, you have to figure out distribution. Last, stop selling and start telling why you want this product in the world. A lot of people underestimate this part. And it's the most difficult part. It's something that makes you vulnerable. What if people don't like my why? What if people don't really resonate with the reason I'm creating? That's okay. There are 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world. You're trying to find product market fit with that. So go ahead, stop selling, constantly stop pitching. Have a conversation, listen to the person. What do they actually need? And they're going to honestly tell you this is what they need. And then you say, hey, I have this product and I built it because I saw this problem already. And the founder is going to be able to communicate and connect with the user. And trust me, a user, when they connect with a founder, they actually want to use your product. Not just they will use it, they are going to share it with the world that they are going to use it. Oops, why did I say step 6? I'm sorry. Step 4, use the power of storytelling. Now, how you're going to use this power of storytelling? I'm giving you 30 seconds right now. First of all, go through what are the 3 to 5 pillars of your company's offering. For me, it's education, it's well-being, it's reports, it's health, it's connection to the real world. So I'm giving you 30 seconds. I want you to write down what are the 3 to 5 pillars of your offering. All right, now that you have those 3 to 5 pillars, I want you to think, what are the best channels to tell those 3 to 5 pillars to your users? Is it through a DM in LinkedIn? Is it through a DM in Instagram? Is it through a DM in any other platform? Or is it through an email? Or you can just get on a call with them. You, as a founder, need to run this process of product market fit. Now, this is a message that I generally don't share. But in 2018, I personally sent this message after creating our first prototype to almost 10,000 parents. This was my why. And I'm sharing this with you because I don't want to sound all preachy that, see, you should do this and, you should do that. I have done this. And after sending 10,000 messages, I got about 1,000 responses of people who said, oh, we would love to use this product and share about it. Oh, I would love to actually get on a call and understand more about this product. And they did. And these are the users who got us without spending any money. We did not offer them any money. We just offered our platform for free. And every user was able to get us 25 new paid users. This is just one of the ways. We ran multiple experiments through different channels. One parent even said, oh my God, you really are the founder and CEO? I generally get a sales call. I never thought a founder or CEO would call a mom like me and tell me about a product. Please run this process. Let people see the human side of you. And trust me, it might seem unscalable at this point, but the virality that you're going to create with this one connection, this one relationship is phenomenal. Last step for the day today: experimentation, fit, and growth. So after you send the message, did you get a response? If you did, ask them, can we get on a call? If you get on a call, you send them a product, an offering. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, you ask them, can you give me feedback? But the feedback is not what they love about the product. For a product market fit, the feedback is these 3 questions. First, will you pay for this product? If they say yes, you found the product market fit. Will you refer and tell your friends about this product? Yes, you found the product market fit. Third, would you be disappointed if you did not use this product? And this I learned from the Superhuman Product Market Fit of Rahul Bora. I genuinely suggest everyone to read that article. It's phenomenal. Will you be disappointed if you did not use this product? If they say yes, very disappointed, you have reached the product market fit. But if they say no to any of these questions, you go back to step 1 and start again. You did a mistake and you need to reinvent and you need to pivot and start it again. But essentially, you keep running these 5 steps till you reach a yes on these 3 questions in your feedback, and you will have your product market fit. This is what a product market fit looks like. The VP of Reddit uses our product of homeschooling that we launched 3 months ago. Emily Chang's kids are part of our program. Again, look at the tweets that they are making. We have spent only $100 till date on our marketing, and that was a failed campaign. We should have never done that. Your parents become your cheerleaders. Your users become your cheerleaders. They were literally sharing all this, and not because I asked them to. Here, they loved our product so much that they wanted to talk about it. I want to check in with everyone now. How's your confidence level? How's everyone feeling? Good, bad, okay. Empowered, that's awesome. Inspired, great, I feel great. I am so happy. Yep, exactly, exactly. That's awesome. Again, let's go ahead. These are the 5 steps to product market fit that I have run over and over again, and I have found the product market fit. Please go ahead and use these 5 steps. I want you to be able to try it out and then send me a response if this method fails or if you're really successful. Send me a response if you think you found some new experiment and some new insights that you would have never thought before. These were the 5 steps to product market fit. You can connect with me on Instagram. I do a lot of free live trainings. I have a free newsletter. I'll put it in the chat if you guys want to go ahead. It's a weekly newsletter with all the resources that I share on entrepreneurship, early stage entrepreneurship. I don't do late stage or mid stage entrepreneurship, only early stage. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And you can take a screenshot of this. I'll put the link of the newsletter in the chat. And I am now open for any questions that you have. Oh my God, I love that, Amira. So Amira shared in the chat, I don't know if you guys can see, I had a presentation to a potential client on Friday. They said I spoke their language of all the vendors who frequent. That's product market fit. That's when you realize, oh my God, that's what they meant. All right, so I see a couple of people who have raised their hands. If you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll call on you. So Rich, can you unmute yourself, and would you like to ask your question?
Yes, hi, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. How are you doing?
This has been fascinating. I've been an entrepreneur my whole career, but the last 3 years I was leading a technology accelerator in Tampa Bay. So I was excited to hear about your accelerator experience in India. So my question is, for the 10,000 folks that you sent personal messages to, which that's unbelievable. I mean, kudos to you. Were they all one by one? Did you use any automation tools, or you just went one? That's admirable. It really is. It makes me think about starting my mortgage company back in the day and just making a ton of phone calls. But no, and you did it. What platform did you connect with them through?
Facebook groups, Instagram chats, and Twitter chats, LinkedIn chats.
Okay. So you used the full genre then.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us, and it's very inspiring to us all. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'm excited about what you're doing. I would love to hear about the program that you're building in Tampa Bay. I just put the sign up link for the newsletter if any of you want to do that, but do connect on Instagram. That's where I do most of my free trainings as well. Prakash, you have a question. I cannot hear you, Prakash. Is it just me or we all cannot hear?
We are
Okay,
not,
I think
we're not able to hear Prakash. We're going to try to unmute him and see.
all right.
He's been unmuted. Would you like to go to the next person?
Oh, yeah, great. Let's go to Neeraj. Hi, Neeraj.
Hey there, Arjita. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience. It's been fascinating. And I'm in the early stage of getting my own startup going. So some of those things I can put to test right away. I have a question for you. Besides the $100 marketing ads, which I also believe can be a wasteful spend sometimes, what else have you tried or have you noticed amongst many of the entrepreneurs and startups that did not work out well at all or well as thought, but was of great learning that has shaped up your thought process around product market fit?
Yeah, influencer marketing doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. A lot of people even pitched it to me today. I tried it and I failed. It was actually a false positive. It tells you that, oh my God, so many people are downloading the app because an influencer shared about it, but they don't convert to paid users. In fact, I realized, and this is dependent on the market that you have. I realized for me, because I'm in the ed tech space and influencer is a mom because parents are connected to each other. So even though they don't have 1 million followers on Instagram, they would be the right fit to talk about to the entire school. So we ran that experiment then after failing on the Instagram influencer stuff and all that influencer marketing thing. And that worked like a charm. So that is something that I would really, really advise people not to pitch. Even in a pitch, if you're giving it to an investor, don't ever say we're going to do influencer marketing. It doesn't work, and people know it doesn't work. The people who've actually invested in companies know that. So we at early stages think this, our product is cool and people are going to do. Third thing, when you hire somebody to do lead generation for you, it doesn't work. Again, you are one of the products they're selling in addition to the 100 others that they have pitched to. And the customer is going to listen to a pitch constantly. They know that they're getting sold something or some service or some offering. It is really frustrating. So please don't do that. You as a founder, even if you're a B2B founder, get your first 100 users on your own or through a referral from your existing user. That works really well. It's a false positive thinking, I'll hire a lead generation platform and they are going to make calls for me day in, day out. Doesn't work.
Perfect.
I
Thank
hope
you
that
so much.
answers your question.
Yes, it does. And then some. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Next question, we have Andres.
Hi, Arjita. Thank you so much for the great presentation. I really enjoyed it. And I have a question. So as you are working with your product and you're starting to get market fit and you have multiple customers, at what point do you think you have enough features and enough maturity to do like a broader release so that you can have a more structured production process and everything while you continue to iterate in pilots or whatever?
Yeah. So I don't think that is ever achievable. To be honest, Andres, you never reach that perfect product because we as entrepreneurs have a vision of our product, but eventually the cycle that the product follows is the feedback that we get from our users. So we start adding the narrative of the user to our product. So what you imagine the product to be, it will never be that if you are the right entrepreneur, if you are a good entrepreneur, because you are going to give up that vision for what people actually need. And that's what product market fit is. It is not vision market fit. It is not vision entrepreneur fit. It is product and market fit. So whatever you're going to be creating, it's always going to be an iteration of a previous product. You can see that with any company out there. Even if they have a product market fit, Apple is releasing new devices year after year. So they have to go through this process of product market fit every year, and they don't get it every year.
Okay, so now I guess that's really very useful. Now I guess my question is on how do you scale? Because that's the question. Yeah.
How do you scale? You scale actually with the virality of your product. Most of the times, again, scaling means different if you have a big market or a niche market. So first of all, what kind of a market are you looking for? I have a niche market and I'm okay with that. With the borderless incubator, I have a big market. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. So we have a very different strategy of scale in both the markets. I'll give you the example of my edtech company. There, the idea is we need to make a product that users like because they are paying us $1,200 a month. And every user on average is bringing us 10 new paid users because they love the product. At that point, that is my strategy to scale, that my K factor is so high. My virality, my referral is so high that if I create value for this, I don't have to spend marketing money to reach 10 new users. So every 100 users are bringing me 1,000 users. That's my strategy to scale.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Amit.
Hi, Arjita.
Hi,
Thank
Amit.
you. And it was a wonderful presentation. I missed a lot of the things because of the network issue. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, I can.
Hello?
I can hear you, Amit. Can you hear us?
Hello?
I think Amit has an issue with...
I'm sorry. I think there's a network issue.
No worries, Amit, put your question in the question side. I'm taking questions from there. There are 3 questions here. So the first question that I've been asked is, how do you manage frustration while developing your idea? Oh, my God, you just like hit such a core thing. It is such a frustrating process, and I'm not going to make it fancy or anything. For me, that's the reason I started the Founders Vault, to be completely honest. I don't want entrepreneurs to be alone in this process. And we've built this community of entrepreneurs who are now helping each other through this process. The only way to deal with that frustration is to have a group of people who are on that same journey as you and are supporting you. That's the only solution I've been able to find. And that has been my why of creating that Founders Vault. But it is a frustrating experience. I'll give you an example. The 5th pivot that we did, we piloted it with 12,000 kids in 5 different countries, 5 or 6. I forget at this point. It just feels like a long time ago. We piloted it with 12,000 kids. And one of the countries, and we went to multiple countries to ask for the feedback from 3 stakeholders: parents, teachers, and the kids. So we asked the parents, they love the product. We asked the teachers, they love the product. And the kid said, and I was like, yeah, the kid is going to love the product, right? It doesn't matter. The kid said, this is nice. Can you make something fun? And it broke my heart. I did not even realize at that point, I was just trying to make a product for a parent and teacher. I forgot about the kids. I did not even think about them. So this was not product market fit. Because there's no point somebody paying for it for a month and the kid doesn't even use it. Parent is not going to use it then, if their kid isn't going to use it. And that was so frustrating because we had done such a huge pilot. We had to go back to the drawing board and recreate that entire product again from the perspective of a child. But thank God we talked to the kid, because today kids love our platform and they keep coming back to the platform. Had that kid not told me that he found this game boring, I wouldn't have actually gone ahead. So again, frustrating process. You've done so much of effort, you've put in so much of energy and it doesn't work out, but find a tribe, find people who are going to be in the same boat as you, or find a mentor who's been through that journey, who can constantly tell you that this is normal and how to come out of that frustration. That's really helpful. We have another question from Facebook. Is your product COPPA compliant and how did you achieve it? Yes, we have lawyers. So we had a privacy policy and we had everything in place. We even have a lawyer in Finland who helped us with GDPR. So it is an expensive process, but it was very important for us to go through that. So we have legal help around that. The next question is there a difference in using experts to scale as opposed to, for instance, we are asking librarians to share with their communities, have been referring to them as librarian influencer, but really they are expert curators of the best books. So again, you have to find an ambassador for your product. It doesn't mean just an expert. It doesn't mean just influencer. You have to find an ambassador who is this key person connected to many other people who can potentially be your users. So in different cases, it could be a different person. Find that ambassador, somebody who already has a tribe and is helping them make a decision. That is the person you would like to go ahead and pitch your product to, tell your story to, and want to give your product for a test and see what they say. Because if they love it, they are going to talk about it. If they hate it, they are going to talk about it. So find this person who is connected to a network, and that is the best way. Doesn't just have to be an expert, doesn't just have to be an influencer. We have another question. Well, how about content marketing? Are you talking about blogs and SEO and everything? Yes, we did that. We haven't spent any money on that. We have been the thought leaders in education. We have a parent resource so that when people come to our website, people know that we are experts. We've done our research. Everything is happening in the right way, and we know what we're talking about. So instead of content marketing, I prefer to go for thought leadership, and we want to create that thought leadership in kids and wellness space for parents. So I would rather spend my energy in becoming a thought leader. And if you read the case study of Headspace, that's what they did. The founder of Headspace became a thought leader when it came to mindfulness and meditation, rather than just doing content marketing. That comes at later stages. Yes, that is a great tool as well. All right. So do you do one-on-one mentorship? I do, and you can connect with me on Instagram and we can take this chat offline. I do a lot of mentorship. I help a lot of founders with their product market fit. Now that I'm at a position where, you know, my startups are going great, they're on autopilot, and I am able to get some time out, I love to mentor other founders. So let's chat about that offline. We have time for one more question. So let me read that question. What advice do you have for running a beta? The best thing ever. Go ahead, run a beta, but try to know that the beta that you're running is not just to see the fact that people like it. Are people using it regularly? Are people going to pay for it? Did they share this link with the people around them? Beta is a great, powerful tool to actually see a product market fit, not just through the words, but through analytics. Make sure you're doing that and you're running surveys, feedback forms, not more than 30-second longs every 2 weeks. You're getting one-on-one calls every month and chatting with people. People love that they're being cared about. I love that I'm being cared about. So I really want to build that kind of a relationship. Product market fit is achieved only when a user finds that you care about them. And honestly, most of us entrepreneurs create products because we care. And that's why we want to make a difference. So show that to a user. Trust me, it is going to work. It is a really hard process, but entrepreneurship is not easy. And I think all of you founders know that already. So I cannot give you an easy process around that. Beta is a great way of testing things through analytics and seeing data around the behavior of a user. All right, I think we are at time. And yeah.
Arjita, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to our community, to share your insights, and to set such a great overview. On behalf of the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center and everyone in attendance today, we are sincerely thankful for you. Are there any last comments or things that you'd like to share before we head off for the day?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. This is such an amazing experience. First of all, having founders from all around the world asking questions. I just want to say that being an entrepreneur is not easy, but find your tribe. And the center is actually a great tribe to have, to have on your side and ask your questions. So make sure you're using this amazing resource. And if you really want to get more help, connect with me, talk to me. You need to find people who've been through that journey. And it is a process, you know, a slow, perpetual process. So it's not an overnight thing that you're going to achieve, but it is a process. Just find the right tribe, the right cheerleaders, the right resources. And in this room, you have a lot of that.
Arjita, thank you so much. And for all of you still listening, we will absolutely be sharing resources from Arjita as well as this video. So you will have everything mentioned today and perhaps more. Thank you so much for joining us. And I would love to share, we have 2 upcoming webinars within the next few weeks. Adaptive Resilience Coaching for Entrepreneurs. It's actually a series that will be starting next Thursday, July 16th, and run for 4 different Thursdays throughout July and August. It's an open coaching space where entrepreneurs can speak about some of the most vulnerable positions they're currently in and understand how to adapt with resilience. And then also an upcoming Thursday, Get a Meeting with Anyone with our author in residence, Stu. So please join us for any and all of those webinars. We're so happy to be providing these for you. And also, if you have any ideas or anything you'd like to share, something you would really specifically love to see from Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center, we are here to make that happen. So please send myself or hello@Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center email, and we absolutely will meet those needs. We are so grateful for everything that we're able to put out and do for all of you. And finally, to help Arjita and Nasdaq, if you're able to fill out that survey that we have shared, that Olivia, our amazing operations manager, has shared a number of times in the chat, that will really help us understand what works for you and what doesn't, and which of our programs you are really interested in, and it will give Arjita some great feedback as well. Thank you all so much again. We hope you have a really beautiful day, and we will see you very soon. Thank you.